before Metallica lost their visionary bassist on a frozen Swedish road, before a crazed gunman ended Dimebag Darrell's life mid-solo, and before the world watched a drummer collapse during a live performance, heavy metal seemed invincible. These weren't just musicians, they were warriors who conquered stadiums, redefined genres, and lived without limits. But behind the stage lights and roaring crowds, their final moments revealed a darker truth. Even metal's mightiest fall. This is the uncensored story of 20 heavy metal deaths that changed music forever. 20. Trevor Strnad, the Black Dahlia Murder's unexpected silence. Trevor Strnad spent nearly 2 decades as the frontman and lyrical architect of the Black Dahlia Murder, one of modern extreme metal's most respected acts. His vocal delivery combined technical death metal precision with theatrical intensity, helping push the genre into broader recognition without compromising its underground credibility. The Black Dahlia Murder later confirmed that Trevor died by suicide at age 41. The revelation added profound complexity to a loss already difficult to process. Fans who had connected with his dark, horror-influenced lyrics suddenly viewed them through a different lens. The theatrical exploration of death and darkness that defined his artistic output existed alongside genuine internal struggles that remained largely private. The Black Dahlia Murder's musical legacy remains influential in melodic death metal circles. Strnad's lyrics, vocal patterns, and stage presence continue to shape younger bands entering the genre. His death didn't just remove a talented vocalist, it eliminated a connector, an advocate, and a genuine enthusiast who elevated those around him. 19. Nick Menza, Death on Stage. Nick Menza's drumming career reached its peak during his tenure with Megadeth from 1989 to 1998, a period when the band released some of thrash metal's most technically accomplished albums. His work on Rust in Peace, Countdown to Extinction, and Euthanasia demonstrated precision, speed, and musical sophistication that helped define 1990s metal drumming. After departing Megadeth, Menza remained active in music, forming the band OHM and participating in various projects. By 2016, he was performing regularly with OHM, a group that blended metal, progressive rock, and experimental elements. Medical reports indicated Menza had been dealing with heart issues, though these conditions weren't widely publicized before his death. The sudden nature of the cardiac event left no opportunity for intervention or farewell. One moment, he was executing complex drum patterns. The next, his heart simply stopped. The metal community's response reflected genuine grief for a musician whose technical contributions had influenced countless drummers. Dave Mustaine and other former Megadeth members issued public statements acknowledging Menza's integral role in the band's most successful era. His death occurred at a venue during a performance, doing exactly what defined his professional life, making it both tragic and, in a strange way, fitting. 18. Taylor Hawkins, the drummer who powered Foo Fighters. Taylor Hawkins joined Foo Fighters in 1997, bringing high-energy drumming and a classic rock sensibility that complemented Dave Grohl's songwriting vision. Over 25 years, Hawkins evolved from hired drummer to essential band member, contributing vocals, songwriting, and a charismatic stage presence that made him a fan favorite. His drumming style blended power rock foundations with metal intensity, earning respect across musical boundaries. Hawkins didn't just keep time. He elevated Foo Fighters' sound with dynamic fills, precise technique, and physical performance that matched the band's high-energy shows. Tributes arrived from across the music world: rock, metal, punk, and alternative artists all acknowledged Hawkins' influence and personality. The grief extended beyond Foo Fighters' immediate fan base, because Hawkins had cultivated genuine relationships throughout the industry. His death removed not just a talented drummer, but a connector who bridged different musical communities. Foo Fighters canceled remaining tour dates, and went silent in the immediate aftermath. The band's future remained uncertain for months as members processed the loss privately. Hawkins' death demonstrated that past addiction issues can resurface unpredictably, even after years of apparent stability. 17. Wayne Static, industrial metal's frozen icon. Wayne Static became instantly recognizable in late 1990s metal through his trademark look: platinum hair, styled vertically, dark clothing, and an aesthetic that merged industrial coldness with metal aggression. As the founder, vocalist, and guitarist of Static X, he helped popularize industrial metal during nu metal's commercial peak. Static X's 1999 debut album, Wisconsin Death Trip, achieved platinum status, propelled by singles that combined heavy guitar riffs with electronic programming and harsh vocals. Wayne's vocal delivery, shouted, processed, and mechanical, became the band's signature sound. Static X maintained commercial relevance through the early 2000s, touring extensively and releasing multiple albums that refined their electronic metal fusion. Internal band conflicts led to Static X's breakup in 2013, though Wayne continued performing solo and with various projects. By 2014, he appeared to be rebuilding his career and personal life. Public statements suggested he was addressing substance issues and planning new musical directions. The visual iconography Wayne created, the hair, the look, the presentation, became inseparable from Static X's identity. His death froze that image permanently, preventing any evolution or late career reinvention. For fans, Wayne Static exists eternally as the platinum-haired frontman from Wisconsin Death Trip, his appearance and sound locked in the late 1990s moment he helped define. 16. Alexi Laiho, melodic death metal's guitar virtuoso. Alexi Laiho founded Children of Bodom in Finland in 1993, eventually becoming one of melodic death metal's most technically accomplished guitarists and songwriters. His playing combined neoclassical influences with extreme metal aggression, creating a signature sound that influenced countless guitarists in subsequent generations. Children of Bodom achieved significant success in Europe, particularly in their native Finland, while maintaining cult status internationally. Laiho's guitar work featured rapid-fire solos, classical compositional elements, and precise technique that elevated the band beyond standard death metal. His vocals added harsh contrast to the melodic instrumentation, creating dynamic range that appealed to both extreme metal purists and listeners seeking musical sophistication. In 2019, legal and financial disputes led to the end of Children of Bodom. Laiho immediately formed a new project, Bodom After Midnight, signaling his intention to continue creating music. Early recordings suggested he retained his technical abilities and creative vision despite the challenges of previous years. On the 29th of December 2020, Alexi Laiho died at his home in Helsinki. He was 41 years old. The family initially provided limited details, later revealing that death resulted from alcohol-induced liver disease and subsequent complications. Years of heavy drinking had caused irreversible damage that ultimately proved fatal. 15. Joey Jordison, Slipknot's percussive powerhouse. Joey Jordison co-founded Slipknot in Des Moines, Iowa in 1995, serving as the band's drummer throughout their rise from underground metal act to global phenomenon. His drumming defined Slipknot's sound: fast, precise, and relentlessly aggressive. Jordison's technical abilities elevated the band's music beyond simple nu metal categorization, incorporating complex rhythms and dynamic patterns that demanded exceptional skill. Behind the mask and stage persona, Jordison was a versatile musician who played multiple instruments and contributed significantly to Slipknot's songwriting. His influence extended beyond percussion into the band's overall sonic direction and musical identity. In 2013, Slipknot announced that Jordison had parted ways with the band. Initial statements were vague, creating speculation about the reasons for his departure. Jordison later revealed that he had been dealing with transverse myelitis, a neurological condition that affected his ability to play drums. He described losing control of his legs and struggling with severe physical limitations that made performing impossible at the level he demanded of himself. On the 26th of July 2021, Joey Jordison died in his sleep at his home in Des Moines. He was 46 years old. His family released a statement confirming his death, but declining to specify the exact medical cause. They emphasized that he passed peacefully in his sleep. The metal community's reaction reflected genuine grief for a musician whose influence extended across multiple bands and projects. Beyond Slipknot, Jordison had played with Murder Dolls, Scar the Martyr, Vimic, and numerous other acts, demonstrating versatility that transcended any single band identity. 14. Chris Cornell, Soundgarden's soaring voice.
On a cobweb afternoon in a room.
Chris Cornell's vocal range and emotional depth made him one of the most respected singers in heavy music history. As the frontman of Soundgarden, he helped define grunge's heavier side, blending metal influence with alternative rock sensibilities. His voice could shift from vulnerable whispers to powerful wails, creating dynamic range that few vocalists could match. Beyond Soundgarden, Cornell fronted Audioslave, pursued a successful solo career, and collaborated with artists across multiple genres. His influence extended beyond grunge and metal into mainstream rock, where his vocal abilities earned universal respect from musicians and critics. On the 17th of May, 2017, Soundgarden performed at the Fox Theater in Detroit as part of a North American tour. The show proceeded normally, with Cornell delivering a full performance that gave no obvious indication of distress. After the concert, Cornell returned to his room at the MGM Grand Detroit Hotel. The Wayne County Medical Examiner ruled Cornell's death a suicide by hanging. Toxicology reports indicated prescription medications in his system, including Ativan, lorazepam, a benzodiazepine used to treat anxiety. The medical examiner noted that the medications may have impaired judgment, but the death was definitively classified as intentional self-harm. Tributes from the music community reflected the breadth of Cornell's influence. Metal musicians, grunge icons, pop artists, and industry figures all acknowledged his impact. His death removed one of rock and metal's most distinctive voices, a talent whose range, power, and emotional delivery remained unmatched by contemporary peers. 13. Paul Gray, Slipknot's foundational bassist. Paul Gray was a founding member of Slipknot, serving as the band's bassist from their inception in 1995 until his death in 2010. His bass lines provided the low-end foundation for Slipknot's dense, aggressive sound, while his songwriting contributions helped shape the band's musical direction. Behind the mask, designated as #2, Gray was described by bandmates as a stabilizing presence who kept the group functional during turbulent periods. On the 24th of May 2010, Gray was found dead in a hotel room in Urbandale, Iowa, a suburb of Des Moines. He was 38 years old. Police responding to a welfare check discovered his body around 10:50 a.m. Initial reports provided few details, leading to immediate speculation about the cause. Gray's death occurred at a specific moment in Slipknot's career between albums, with the band contemplating their next creative direction. His absence forced fundamental questions about whether Slipknot could or should continue. The band eventually decided to move forward, recruiting Donnie Steele as touring bassist and later Alexander Venturella, but Gray's presence remained irreplaceable in the band's emotional and creative core. Slipknot dedicated their 2014 album 2-5, The Gray Chapter, to Paul's memory, with multiple songs directly addressing his loss and its impact on surviving members. His death permanently altered the band's trajectory, creating a before and after divide in their history. 12. Vinnie Paul, Pantera's Groove Master. Vinnie Paul Abbott, alongside his brother Dimebag Darrell, formed the rhythmic and creative core of Pantera. His drumming defined groove metal, a style emphasizing rhythmic precision and heavy, syncopated patterns over pure speed. Vinnie's approach to percussion helped Pantera stand apart from thrash contemporaries, creating a sound that was simultaneously aggressive and controlled. After Pantera's breakup in 2003, Vinnie co-founded Damageplan with Dimebag, continuing their musical partnership until his brother's murder in 2004. Following that tragedy, Vinnie eventually joined Halia, demonstrating resilience in returning to music despite profound personal loss. On the 22nd of June 2018, Vinnie Paul died in his sleep at his home in Las Vegas. He was 54 years old. Initial reports provided minimal information, creating uncertainty about the cause until autopsy results were released. Tributes emphasized Vinnie's influence on metal drumming, particularly his groove-oriented approach that prioritized feel and pocket over technical flash. His work on albums like Vulgar Display of Power and Far Beyond Driven created the template for groove metal percussion that countless drummers studied and emulated. The metal community mourned not just a drummer, but the last direct connection to Pantera's original lineup. With Vinnie's death, the band that had defined 1990s metal aggression existed only in recordings and memories. His passing represented the end of an era, closing a chapter of metal history that had already been marked by violence and tragedy.
11. Jeff Hanneman, Slayer's dark architect. Jeff Hanneman co-founded Slayer in 1981, serving as guitarist and primary songwriter for the band widely regarded as thrash metal's most extreme and uncompromising act. His riffs defined Slayer's sound, chromatic, dissonant, and relentlessly aggressive. Hanneman's lyrics explored war, death, and horror without the fantasy elements common in metal, creating controversy that fueled Slayer's notoriety. Hanneman's songwriting credits included some of thrash metal's most influential tracks. His guitar work emphasized speed and precision, with minimal regard for conventional melodic structure. This approach helped establish Slayer as the most extreme of thrash metal's big four bands. Slayer continued following Hanneman's death, with Gary Holt officially joining the band. However, the group acknowledged that something fundamental was lost. Hanneman's songwriting and guitar playing were inseparable from Slayer's identity. His absence was musically and emotionally significant, contributing to the band's eventual decision to retire in 2019. Hanneman's influence on extreme metal extended beyond Slayer. His approach to riff construction, lyrical themes, and uncompromising aggression established templates followed by countless death metal, black metal, and thrash bands. His death removed one of metal's most uncompromising creative voices, ending a career defined by pushing boundaries without concern for commercial viability or mainstream acceptance. Desmatias. At Peter Steele, Type O Negative's Gothic giant. Peter Steele stood 6 feet 8 inches tall with a deep, resonant voice that became the defining characteristic of Type O Negative. The Brooklyn-born musician blended doom metal, gothic atmosphere, dark humor, and unexpected melodic elements into a sound entirely unique in heavy music. His physical presence, lyrical honesty, and willingness to explore vulnerability within metal's typically masculine framework made him an unconventional icon. Type O Negative achieved cult success through the 1990s and early 2000s, with albums like Bloody Kisses and October Rust, demonstrating Steele's ability to balance crushing heaviness with genuine emotion. His lyrics explored relationships, self-loathing, sexuality, and mortality with a combination of sincerity and dark wit that resonated with fans seeking depth beyond standard metal themes. By the late 2000s, Steele appeared to be moving toward stability. Type O Negative released Dead Again in 2007, and the band toured successfully. Steele discussed sobriety and renewed focus in interviews, creating hope that his darkest periods were concluding. Type O Negative disbanded permanently following Steele's death, with surviving members stating the band couldn't exist without him. His voice, songwriting, and personality were so central to the group's identity that continuation was both practically impossible and emotionally inappropriate. Steele's legacy includes music that explored emotional territory metal typically avoided. His willingness to write about love, loneliness, and vulnerability within heavy musical contexts influenced subsequent generations of musicians who sought to expand metal's emotional range. His death ended a career defined by honesty, humor, and unexpected tenderness within brutal sonic frameworks. 9. Ronnie James Dio, heavy metal's fantasy lord. Ronnie James Dio's career spanned 5 decades, establishing him as one of heavy metal's most respected vocalists and influential figures. From his work with Rainbow and Black Sabbath to his eponymous band Dio, he consistently delivered powerful vocals and fantasy-themed lyrics that elevated metal beyond street-level realism. On May 16, 2010, Ronnie James Dio died at age 67. The cause was complications from gastric cancer that had metastasized to other organs. Despite aggressive treatment, the disease progressed, eventually overwhelming his body. While Dio's death wasn't sudden or unexpected in the way accidents or overdoses shock fans, it still felt profound. His voice had been constant in metal for so long that its permanent silence created a void. The public nature of his final months allowed fans to prepare emotionally, but preparation didn't diminish the loss. Dio's death occurred at a moment when he remained creatively active and culturally relevant. He wasn't a nostalgia act coasting on past achievements, but rather an elder statesman still producing new music and touring successfully. And his passing removed a living connection to metal's foundational era, creating a generational shift in the genre's leadership. His vocal legacy influences countless singers who studied his technique, phrasing, and emotional delivery. Albums like Holy Diver and Heaven and Hell remain fundamental texts in metal education, studied by musicians seeking to understand what made Dio's approach so effective and enduring. 8. Bon Scott, AC/DC's wild voice.
In the beginning, back in 1955.
Bon Scott joined AC/DC in 1974, transforming the Australian band's sound through his raspy vocals and hedonistic lyrical perspective. His voice carried street-level authenticity that connected with working-class audiences, while his stage presence projected dangerous charisma. Scott's lyrics celebrated excess without apology, in creating anthems for rock and metal fans seeking unfiltered rebellion. On February 19, 1980, Bon Scott spent the evening drinking heavily in London. After a night at the Music Machine Club, he was driven to a friend's car, where he passed out. Instead of seeking medical assistance or taking Scott to a safe location, the individual left him in the vehicle overnight. London temperatures were cold, and Scott remained unconscious in the car for hours. The next afternoon, Scott was discovered unresponsive. He was rushed to King's College Hospital but was pronounced dead on arrival. The official cause was listed as acute alcohol poisoning and death by misadventure. He was 33 years old. Bon Scott's influence on hard rock and heavy metal vocals persists through singers who adopted his raspy delivery and lyrical directness. His approach, working-class perspective delivered through unpretentious vocals, created a template followed by countless rock frontmen. His death at 33, from preventable alcohol poisoning, became both cautionary tale and rock mythology, embodying the genre's dangerous appeal. Bold Evan, Lemmy Kilmister, Motorhead's eternal outlaw. Lemmy Kilmister founded Motorhead in 1975 after being fired from space rock band Hawkins. Over 4 decades, he created a sound that bridged punk, metal, and rock and roll, influencing countless bands across multiple genres. Lemmy's bass playing, aggressive, loud, and treated more like rhythm guitar, created Motorhead's distinctive sonic assault. His gravelly voice and unapologetic lifestyle made him heavy music's most enduring outlaw figure. In late December 2015, Lemmy learned he had aggressive cancer. The diagnosis came just 2 days before his death, leaving no time for treatment or public preparation. On December 28, 2015, Lemmy Kilmister died at his apartment in Los Angeles. The official causes listed prostate cancer, cardiac arrhythmia, and congestive heart failure. News of Lemmy's death spread rapidly on December 28th and 29th, with tributes arriving from across music culture. Metal bands, punk acts, rock legends, and fans worldwide acknowledged that heavy music had lost its most consistent symbol of defiance. Lemmy had been active, visible, and seemingly eternal right until the end. Motorhead disbanded immediately following Lemmy's death. The band had been his creation and vehicle for 40 years. Continuation without him was inconceivable. His influence remains embedded in metal, punk, and rock through bands who adopted Motorhead's aggressive approach, loud, fast, simple aesthetic, and refusal to compromise for commercial acceptance. 6. Dead. Per Yngve Olin, Mayhem's Corpse vocalist. Per Yngve Olin, known as Dead, served as vocalist for Norwegian black metal band Mayhem from 1988 until his death in 1991. His stage presence pushed performance art into genuinely disturbing territory. He wore corpse paint before it became black metal standard, cut himself during performances, and buried his clothes to wear them on stage covered in decomposition smell. Dead's behavior wasn't theatrical affectation. He genuinely struggled with severe depression and obsession with death that went beyond artistic exploration. Bandmates later described concerning behavior that indicated serious mental illness, including collecting dead animals and discussing fascination with his own mortality. On April 8, 1991, Dead died by suicide at age 22. He used a knife and shotgun, leaving a suicide note that read simply, "Excuse all the blood." He was alone in the house he shared with Mayhem guitarist Euronymous when he took his own life. Dead's influence on black metal aesthetics remains visible decades later. Corpse paint became standard visual presentation across the genre, even as its original practitioners' personal struggles were romanticized rather than understood as mental health crisis. His death represents one of extreme metal's darkest moments, when artistic exploration of death became literal self-destruction. 5. Euronymous. Øystein Arseth, Mayhem's murdered architect. Øystein Arseth, known as Euronymous, founded Mayhem in 1984 and became the central figure in Norwegian black metal's development. As guitarist and primary ideologue, he pushed the genre toward extreme anti-Christian positions, yet creating an atmosphere that encouraged genuine extremism rather than theatrical posturing. Vikernes was arrested, tried, and convicted of murder, receiving a 21-year sentence. He also received convictions for church burnings and other crimes. The trial brought international media attention to Norwegian black metal, transforming an underground music scene into global news story. Euronymous died at 25, his murder becoming the most infamous event in black metal history. The circumstances removed any remaining boundary between music and violence, demonstrating that extreme rhetoric could produce extreme consequences. His death also effectively ended the early Norwegian black metal scene, as legal attention forced remaining participants underground or into prison. Mayhem continued after Euronymous' death, eventually becoming one of black metal's most enduring bands. However, yet the group's early history, marked by Dead's suicide and Euronymous' murder, remains inseparable from discussions of the band, making their musical contributions impossible to separate from tragedy and violence. 4. Chuck Schuldiner, death metal's founding father. Chuck Schuldiner founded Death in 1983, creating what is widely regarded as the first true death metal band. His early work established the genre's sonic parameters, growled vocals, complex song structures, dark lyrical themes, and technical instrumental proficiency. As Death evolved, Schuldiner pushed death metal toward progressive territory, incorporating jazz fusion elements and philosophical lyrics that expanded the genre beyond simple brutality. In May 1999, Schuldiner was diagnosed with brainstem glioma, a rare and aggressive brain tumor. The location of the tumor made surgical removal extremely risky. Treatment options were limited, and prognosis was poor from the start. On December 13, 2001, Chuck Schuldiner died at age 34. The official cause was pneumonia brought on by complications from his cancer treatment. His immune system, weakened by radiation therapy, couldn't fight the infection. His death occurred at his family's home in Altamonte Springs, Florida. The financial struggles during his illness sparked ongoing discussions about healthcare access for musicians. Schuldiner's difficulties paying for life-saving treatment, despite his influence and success within death metal, highlighted systemic problems facing artists in underground music scenes. Yet his influence remains foundational to death metal. Countless bands cite death as primary inspiration, and Schuldiner's approach to songwriting, guitar playing, and vocal delivery established templates followed across multiple death metal subgenres. His legacy includes not just creating death metal, but demonstrating the genre's potential for sophistication and artistic growth. 3. Dimebag Darrell, Pantera's murdered guitar hero. Darrell Lance Abbott, universally known as Dimebag Darrell, was Pantera's lead guitarist. and alongside his brother Vinnie Paul, the creative force that transformed the band from glam metal to groove metal pioneers. His guitar playing, characterized by heavy tone, squealing harmonics, and in groove-oriented riffs, defined the 1990s metal sound and influenced entire generations of guitarists. Beyond technical abilities, Dimebag cultivated genuine connection with fans. He was known for accessible, friendly interactions, frequently hanging out with fans after shows and maintaining authentic enthusiasm for metal culture. This approachability made him uniquely beloved among metal guitarists, who are often perceived as distant or competitive. On December 8, 2004, Damageplan performed at the Orosa Villa nightclub in Columbus, Ohio. Yet just seconds into the opening song, a man named Nathan Gale rushed the stage armed with a 9mm Beretta pistol. He fired multiple shots directly at Dimebag, killing him almost instantly. Gale continued shooting, killing 3 others and wounding several more before being shot dead by police officer James Niggemeyer. Dimebag died at age 38. Yes, at the height of his technical abilities and creative output. The violent, public nature of his murder differentiated it from other metal deaths. Accidents, overdoses, and suicides occurred away from audiences. Dimebag was executed in front of fans who had come to see him play. Dimebag's death stands as metal's darkest moment of on-stage violence, transforming live performance from communal celebration into potentially dangerous space requiring constant security awareness. Divey. At Cliff Burton, Metallica's bass visionary. Cliff Burton joined Metallica in 1982, bringing musical sophistication that elevated the band beyond standard thrash metal. His bass playing incorporated classical influences, jazz harmonies, and unconventional techniques that expanded what bass could do within heavy metal. Burton's approach, melodic, prominent in the mix, and compositionally complex, made him integral to Metallica's early creative identity. Burton's influence extended beyond performance into songwriting and arrangement. His musical education and willingness to experiment pushed Metallica toward more ambitious compositions. Tracks like Orion and Anesthesia, Pulling Teeth, demonstrated bass guitar's potential as lead instrument within metal context. By 1986, Metallica had released Master of Puppets, widely regarded as thrash metal's creative peak. The album showcased Burton's contributions throughout, from melodic bass lines to songwriting credits. The band was touring Europe, building momentum toward potential mainstream breakthrough. His death at 24, with unlimited potential ahead, created permanent what-if scenarios. What would Metallica's next albums have sounded like with Burton's continued input? How would metal bass playing have evolved with him alive to push boundaries further? These questions remain unanswerable, frozen by a tour bus accident on a Swedish back road. Pirmace. Randy Rhoads, classical metal's shooting star. Randy Rhoads was already recognized as exceptional talent before joining Ozzy Osbourne's band in 1979. His work with Quiet Riot had demonstrated technical proficiency beyond typical rock guitarists, incorporating classical training into metal context. When Ozzy recruited him following Black Sabbath's firing of their singer, Rhoads elevated Ozzy's solo material to levels exceeding anything in his previous career. Was beyond exceptional playing, Rhoads was known for dedication to continuous improvement. He regularly took guitar lessons while on tour, constantly seeking to expand his knowledge and abilities. This commitment to education within rock and metal contexts was unusual and demonstrated genuine passion for musical growth. Investigation revealed Aycock was not cleared to fly passengers and was under influence of cocaine at the time. His reckless behavior directly caused the crash. The revelation that Rhoads died due to someone else's irresponsible actions added anger to grief. Randy Rhoads' death stands as metal's most tragic loss of pure potential. Unlike musicians who died after long careers or years of self-destructive behavior, Rhoads was taken randomly, senselessly, and violently at the start of what should have been a legendary career. The plane crash didn't just kill a guitarist, it eliminated an entire future trajectory of metal guitar evolution that will never exist. These 20 deaths, spanning accidents, overdoses, illness, suicide, and murder, represent only a fraction of heavy metal's losses. Each removed a unique voice, talent, and perspective from music culture. Collectively, they demonstrate that metal's mythology of invincibility is exactly that, mythology. Behind every powerful performance and aggressive album were human beings facing the same vulnerabilities as anyone else. The causes vary, but patterns emerge. Substance abuse claimed multiple talents whose addictions proved stronger than intervention attempts. Mental health struggles ended lives that appeared successful from outside. Violence, both self-inflicted and external, demonstrated that extreme music sometimes attracts or cultivates extreme consequences. Medical conditions, often worsened by lifestyle factors, killed musicians who seemed physically powerful. Yet what remains consistent is the gap between public perception and private reality. Fans saw the stage versions, confident, powerful, seemingly invincible. Few saw the struggles happening backstage, in hotels, during downtime when the persona dropped. This disconnect makes each loss shocking, regardless of warning signs that may seem obvious in retrospect. The metal community continues grappling with these losses. Memorial concerts, tribute albums, and ongoing discussions about mental health, addiction, and musician welfare all stem from recognition that talent alone doesn't protect anyone. The loudest voices, fastest players, and most aggressive performers remain as human and fragile as anyone else. These deaths changed metal's history. They removed potential futures, ended creative partnerships, and forced bands to either continue transformed or disband entirely. They also served as warnings, cautionary examples that excess has limits and vulnerability affects everyone regardless of public strength. The music remains. Albums, recordings, and performances preserve these artists at their peaks, allowing their influence to extend beyond their lifespans. New generations discover their work, learn from their innovations, and carry forward the sounds they created. In that way, their contributions achieve the immortality their physical bodies couldn't. But the losses hurt. Metal fans, bandmates, families, and friends all carry the absence of these talents. The question of what more they might have created, where their careers might have led, what innovations they might have produced, these remain forever unanswered. They're frozen at the moments their lives ended. Heavy metal celebrates power, aggression, and defiance. These 20 deaths remind us that underneath that celebration, vulnerability, fragility, and mortality remain unchanged. The music conquered the world. The people making it proved all too human.